Every day in the USA, people find themselves in court.
Miss Hill, are you ready to go?
Yeah, whatever you.
All right. I didn't know you guys were finished.
She's just.
All right, well, let's call the case. We're about 25 minutes late. We got backed up by our previous zoning enforcement matter. This is file number 24926 FY, People versus Shania Marie Hill. Miss Hill was charged with assault with a dangerous weapon for allegedly hitting her brother in the head with a sock with a heavy object in it, and then resisting and obstructing the police officers. The matter was reduced to attempting to resist or obstruct a police officer. And the matter was set for a sentence today. The defendant missed several previous court dates. She would be set. There was a P exam set. She didn't show up. She'd get arrested. And then she'd postpone, and then she wouldn't show up, and then she'd get arrested again. And then here we are. So I did get the police report, which was eye-opening. The defendant had been in the Kalamazoo County Jail and was out. She got arrested again in December. Between the time we took this plea and now.
What we just.
Let me see what there was a date of the plea. December 30th. I guess that was earlier in December. So the police report is bad. When I took your plea, you wandered and you gave me this long story about your daughter was at your brother's and you came down there and you thought he was doing stuff with her, but yet you let her live there or placed her there for 2 years.
He was taking our money.
You thought he was taking her money. Then they talked to her. She said she'd rather live there. Anyway, he did provide a brief victim statement, which I'll address.
She's lived with me since he assaulted her right after I first got out and filed my police report. He choked her.
All right. Anyway, then you were absolute horse's ass to the police. And here we are. Miss Hines, what would you like me to know?
Yeah, this was in May of 24. Rhonda Ives was her initial attorney and had did some discussion with a couple witnesses. Shane and I got off the wrong foot because I didn't realize that the case went back that far. I didn't get any background information from Rhonda Ives, so we had to make up a lot of ground on the day we were here in December. My client was adamant that she did not hit her brother, that her brother had hit her. She was honest with the court. She explained that. That's why the assault with a dangerous weapon was dropped. And she did admit freely that she did kick the police officer, and she was pretty difficult with them. I did watch the body cam. I think she's had kind of a rough life. Her daughter was there. Her daughter's now was back living in Kalamazoo when we entered the plea. She's disabled. She did tell me this morning she's made arrangements at the Gilmore Center to do some inpatient work there. It sounds like she might.
I never thought I would say this, but I can't hear you very well.
So it sounds like she has some substance abuse issues. She did admit to drinking that night. Sounds like she's just had a rough life. She's got 5 children. I learned that this morning.
Just a moment, Mr. George, your client just came in. If you need to talk.
I've talked.
Okay. All right.
So it sounds like she's got neglect and abuse or had neglect and abuse charges. So I don't think anything's been really easy for Miss Hill. So I know that she wants to go ahead with the Gilmore Center. She does have pending charges in Kalamazoo County, but she doesn't have the paperwork to tell me what those are. So obviously she has that to deal with. I guess we would just be asking for fines and costs. she did serve some jail time. She has Kalamazoo County jail time, and unfortunately, it's taken a while for this to get here, but I'm glad I've now been appointed and I've been able to straighten things out for her. So it's been kind of a mess. So that's what we're asking.
All right,
Thanks,
according to what I got from the Kalamazoo County Sheriff's Department, her charges were assault and battery, resisting a police officer, driving suspended, and resisting a police officer. Those occurred on December 13th of 2024. She did mention that she had been charged with something in Kalamazoo, but we weren't clear.
Right,
I
and
think
I
it
wasn't clear of that
I
either.
think those cases are still pending in Kalamazoo County.
Right,
Scheduled it out for, after a month in the treatment center, which I was waiting for today. After pushed it back since that's.
All right, Mr.
Okay.
Gabriel, you've been here now about 10 days, so you inherited this case also. Do you have any input here?
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, I guess I appreciate you looking into what was going on in Kalamazoo, and what immediately pops in my mind is wondering what the defendant's state of mind was at this particular point in time. When I initially read some of the police report up to a point, I thought, well, this is a lot like what in the old days we would call a drunk and disorderly. And then I saw the kick to the police officer. And to me, that raises this to the kind of level that it deserves to be here. I would read one note, kind of in response to defense counsel's last comment, from our thought process. The court's well aware of some of the sentencing directives that have come down that affect the circuit court and what they can and can't do with particular cases. And it was the opinion of the office at the time, prior to my arrival, that a plea before you could give her the potential for more sanctions and more help than might be received if the case went up to circuit court. This case kind of arises to the level where it's too bad she didn't get it taken care of right away, because I probably wouldn't have read a lot of the notes that I've read. The issue here between her and her brother that seemed to be fueled by her own alcoholic, intoxicated paranoia about her daughter. The officer talks to the daughter, there's no problems, but then a few months later, let's see, July 15th, the next thing you know, we have a warrant, or this office issues a warrant against the brother for assault on the daughter. That warrant is still open. And that was another factor that resulted in that office, Mr. Marvin's office, not pursuing the felonious assault. So my hope for the court is realizing that this client has been very difficult, is we can try to help, court can try to help, or the court can put her in jail as a punishment for what she did and hope she gets help on her own. But fines and costs just seems like we're asking for something you're never going to see.
Ms. Hill, I'll give you the last word. What would you like me to know?
I've lost everything these last 2 years. And looking back, I just tried to make excuses for everything. It's this CPS, it's something. And I've stomped my feet and, yelled long enough, and I need to shit or get off the pot, and I've died 4 times this last year, and I'm tired.
What are you struggling with? Opioids or methamphetamine?
Alcohol.
Okay.
And I'm just to the point where I'm either going to kill myself or change. And that's why the treatment was set up for the following week or the past week. But I can't leave to come to court and stuff like that. You can't leave for it. My daughter, even with the assault charges there, she just said, "Mom, I just want my mom back." I'm like, well, saying crap like I did something isn't cool, but I understand she just wants her mom back. And after the treatment, it's like it's like 5 days detox, something, and then it's like 14 days in, and then it's a 90-day sober living, and then there's another program after that. I've lost my house, all 5 kids. I don't have anything left. I just want to start over. I moved out of Kalamazoo because that is nothing good for me there. It took 20 years of just
Where do you live now?
Hartford.
Okay.
And Kalamazoo is supposed to do like a global or whatever it's called, where they put all the charges together and they're gonna see how I'm doing after like a month.
So do you have charges in Van Buren County also?
This is the only one besides Kalamazoo.
Okay,
And they were supposed to do probation, I think there.
well, I think that may be the thought.
Yeah. That's what they were saying, with the prosecutor and them last time, so they just wanted to make sure I got into the treatment and started, and today was the last thing I had. I got the meds and everything, so.
All right,
I'm too old.
yes. You do have a lot of baggage. At the time this happened, which by the way was 3 o'clock in the morning. May the 25th was at that time it was a Friday night into a Saturday morning.
Sure, that's
So-
what my daughter
so-
turned 18.
You didn't just show up there and want to have a discussion. He said you hit him in the head with a sock with a piece of
I honestly,
pneumatic chisel.
I was
which-
upset with him and I honestly
Yeah,
went there
so
to beat
you
his
were-
ass and I didn't. He punched me and slammed the door like. Me and my brother.
So I don't
was raised
blame
like
him.
a
It's
boy.
3 o'clock in the morning. You're bashing on the side of the trailer. You're pounding on the trailer. You're pounding on the door. He opens the door. You hit him with this thing in the head. Now, maybe he hit you first, but then you hit him.
I never hit
And-
him. I would admit to it, sir.
All right, well, he claims you did, and they found the instrument. You're drunk. This is in a trailer park. As Mr. Gabriel said, drunk and disorderly, to be sure. Then apparently he got charged with you, but hasn't been arrested yet. And so they decided they weren't gonna pursue the assault part, just the cop part. So the police show up. You got a previous resisting and obstructing conviction out of Kalamazoo. You're on bond for resisting and obstructing from December 13th, or excuse me. You got arrested again for resisting and obstructing in Kalamazoo while you're on bond for here for resisting and obstructing. And the only reason this case is so old is that you continually failed to appear for your hearings when you were supposed to. We kept bonding you out. The first one was a surety bond. And your surety company called on after you failed to appear.
I had a lot of problems with the man that bonded me out. And
Well, then,
he pulled the bond.
Yes, he called and
we got
said
it,
she is a quote unquote hot mess. And then he pulled the bond. And then
Bonded me out every time.
I think you spent the 25th and you got out on the 26th the first time. Then you got picked up again on the 11th and the 10th of July. You did 2 days there. Then you failed to appear again. You got arrested on December
On my way here.
17th and you posted bond on the 18th. So you've done a total of 4 days in jail.
Oh, it's more than that.
Since you got arrested on December 17th. And that may have been, did they bring you down here from Kalamazoo?
Yeah, it was like a whole week this last
All
time.
right, so you were in Kalamazoo from the 13th and then they brought you here on the 17th. And I gave you a bond on the 18th. So you got 4 St. Joseph County credit days.
It was more than
The police officers tried to give you a breath test, which you didn't have to take it. It wasn't a driving case, but you wouldn't. They were just trying to determine how intoxicated you were. And you didn't cooperate with that. Your brother says serious need for rehab for drugs and alcohol. I love my sister, but she needs help.
he's never let me out of anything.
Under the minimum allowable fine of $125. I'm gonna order 34 days in jail, credit 30, or credit 4. You're gonna do 30 days in jail starting right now.
What?
Yeah, you're going to jail. Eventually, there's a
And I'm going
consequence.
to
You're
treatment
going
for
to
30
jail.
days.
If you'd like to go for longer, we could discuss it further. You're getting 30 days in jail for your obnoxious drunken behavior at 3 o'clock in the morning where you kick some Three Rivers police officers. You failed to appear on 3 previous occasions. You have a previous conviction for resisting and obstructing a police officer. And while you were on bond at AWOL from our case, you got arrested again for resisting, obstructing, and assault in Kalamazoo. So you're not
The
in
one was
Kalamazoo,
from a
you're in
long time
Centerville, so you're going to jail for 30 days. 125 days or 2 additional days.
I'm in the middle
jail.
of getting my meds and stuff.
Hey, well, you're going to jail. That's what happens when you get sentenced. There's a consequence.
I thought that we didn't, I thought we had a whole agreement thing.
We did not have an agreement. You're going to jail, which you've earned. If you'd like to earn some more, we can discuss it. I'd like you to just quietly go with the officer. You'll get some good time. You'll be out
Can
in
you let them
25
know?
days and you can start your
Is
probation
there
in
phone numbers? Can you
Kalamazoo.
call the phone number?
Where's the car?
I don't even know if this, I walk. It's got a dent on the door.
We'll tell your friend.
My home passport, so they can give my finance car back.
It's 30 days, 34 days jail, credit 4, no probation. I waived all the fines and costs,
I
including
have
attorney
worked there
fees,
too, how can we let
except
them
the
know?
minimum fee of $125, which should be paid before your release or 2 additional days. Mr. Gabriel, thank you for your help. We have one more to do.
Search your passports. Says car.
Arnold, am I correct, sir?
Attempt, Arnold.
Yeah, it's his car, it's Washington. My kids is.
If you guys want to have further discussion, you can do it in the back. I don't want to do it here on the live feed, and I don't have
Sorry.
another case to do.
And it's a like floor with a dent on the driver's side.
What's that? Yeah.